Picture this. It's 2 in the morning, you swing your legs out of bed expecting to feel your carpet, but instead, splash. Your foot hits 2 inches of freezing cold water. That immediate, heart-sinking panic, it's something literally no homeowner ever wants to experience. But here's the thing. When water invades your home, treating it like just some messy puddle waiting to be mopped up is the absolute biggest mistake you can make. It's not just a spill, it's a fast-moving, completely invisible biological enemy. And defeating it, well, that requires a highly scientific, meticulously planned rescue operation. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the anatomy of a water rescue, and we're looking specifically at the unique, honestly pretty compounding challenges faced right here in Green Cove Springs.
So, here's our roadmap for This Explainer. First, we'll cover the Green Cove Springs threat. Second, the 48-hour ticking clock. Third, the science of drying. Fourth, the step-by-step restoration process. And finally, navigating the insurance maze. Let's get right to it.
All right, Section 1, the Green Cove Springs threat. We are looking at a perfect storm of geography and infrastructure.
You see, exactly where you live dictates exactly how water is going to attack your home. And the hyperlocal risks in Green Cove Springs, they completely change the game. You're dealing with this perfect storm of environmental and architectural vulnerabilities. First off, you've got the persistent seasonal flooding risks from the St. Johns River and Governor's Creek. Then, let's say you're looking at older, really established neighborhoods like Magnolia Point or River Oaks. Many of these gorgeous homes were actually built without modern vapor barriers. And worse, they're often filled with aging polybutylene or galvanized plumbing. Now, if you aren't familiar with polybutylene, it's essentially a ticking time bomb. It's a type of plastic piping installed decades ago that literally degrades from the inside out. It'll often just burst without a single warning sign. Toss in the brutal reality of hurricane season, where intense, wind-driven rain easily forces its way through aging window seals and roof vents. And yeah, you have a deeply vulnerable environment.
But there's another hidden problem right beneath your feet. In Clay County, the dense, clay-heavy soil does an incredibly poor job of absorbing rainwater. When an intense Florida downpour hits, that water literally has nowhere to go. It doesn't drain away safely into the earth like you'd hope. Instead, it aggressively pools right around your foundation. This creates a state of chronic dampness in crawl spaces and basements. It's this silent destroyer that's rotting your home's wooden framing and feeding dangerous mold growth from the ground up, long before you ever even see a drop of water inside your living room.
Moving on to Section 2, the 48-hour ticking clock. Because water damage is quite literally a race against biology. Once that water finally breaches the interior of your home, the stakes immediately and violently change. You are no longer just dealing with a water problem, you're in a high-stakes race against biology. 48 hours. That is your absolute point of no return. It's the maximum time you have before trapped moisture turns from a frustrating structural issue into a severe biological health hazard. In Florida's year-round, intense humidity, where the ambient air naturally hovers at 60 to 70% on a good day, mold spores don't just slowly grow. They absolutely explode into action the second they find a damp surface. Let's break down exactly how this escalation happens hour by hour. During hours 1 to 24, water is spreading rapidly through porous materials. And it isn't just sitting there in a puddle. It's actively moving through capillary action. It wicks right up your drywall, literally defying gravity, completely soaking your carpet padding and saturating the wooden subfloors. Then, between hours 24 to 48, the biological clock strikes. Mold spores, which are naturally present in the air everywhere, hit that saturated material and just begin to multiply rapidly. By days 3 to 7, the structural damage reaches a critical phase. Wood absorbs the moisture deeply, it swells, it warps, and it permanently weakens. This relentless, totally unforgiving timeline makes it crystal clear why professional crews treat a flood like a medical emergency. Their goal? Boots on the ground within 60 minutes.
But here's something crucial to understand. Not all water is created equal. Professionals classify the threat level using 3 distinct categories. Category 1 is clean water, like that burst supply line we mentioned. Initially, it's a low biological hazard. Category 2 is gray water. This might come from a washing machine or a dishwasher overflow, and it carries a moderate hazard. But Category 3? That is black water, and this is where things get really grim. This includes sewage backups, obviously, but crucially, it also includes any floodwaters from the St. Johns River. River water pushing into your home isn't just harmless mud, it is a toxic biological soup filled with agricultural runoff, animal waste, and bacteria. It automatically triggers severe health hazard protocols and requires highly specialized sanitization gear before anyone can even safely breathe in the room.
Okay, Section 3, the science of drying. This is where we replace guesswork with psychrometry.
Now,
We need to demystify some industry jargon here. Psychrometry, I know. It sounds like something straight out of a college physics textbook, right? But it's actually just the science of air and moisture relationships. You see, true water damage restoration is a precise mathematical equation. Technicians don't just guess. They take specialized stainless steel probes and physically stick them deep into your baseboards, your drywall, and your subfloor to measure the exact material moisture content. They measure temperature and relative humidity. Then, they use those specific numbers to calculate the exact ratio of dehumidification and airflow required to physically force the water out of the materials and back into the air.
This highlights a massive gap between the myth of an easy DIY cleanup and the reality of professional intervention. It's so tempting to just grab a tiny desktop fan, point it at a soaked carpet, crack a window, and hope for the best. But DIY methods like household fans, spraying a little bleach on visible mold, and just guessing when things feel dry to the touch almost always lead to hidden rot and massive secondary damage. On the professional side, which is governed by strict IICRC-certified standards, it's a completely different battlefield. We're talking commercial-grade dehumidifiers, EPA-registered antimicrobials, thermal imaging, and verifiable moisture mapping. Honestly, household tools are completely and utterly powerless against water that is wicked 3 feet up into a dark, unventilated wall cavity. Which brings us to Section 4, the step-by-step restoration process, basically the rescue playbook.
Now that we know the science, let's walk through the actual step-by-step rescue playbook. This should give you a clear, calming roadmap of what to expect when the cavalry actually arrives. Step 1 is emergency contact and dispatch. This means getting a fully equipped team on site within 60 minutes, day or night. Step 2 is extraction and remediation. And look, this isn't a quick shop vac operation. They use massive truck-mounted extraction units capable of pulling out thousands upon thousands of gallons of water in a matter of hours, followed by applying treatments and mathematically mapping the moisture. Step 3 is restoration and verification. This ensures everything is rebuilt strictly to the Florida Building Code, accompanied by final scientific testing to guarantee zero hidden dampness remains to cause trouble down the line.
During that second step, technicians deploy an absolutely incredible high-tech arsenal. To me, the most fascinating tools are the infrared thermal cameras. These essentially act like X-ray vision for your house. Because water evaporates and cools the surface of the wall, the camera can clearly visualize the cold spots where water is pooling behind a perfectly painted piece of drywall. Paired with deep-penetrating moisture meters, those truck-mounted extractors we talked about, and HEPA scrubbers that literally wash the mold right out of the air, the goal is simple. The absolute most important part of this job is finding, tracking, and eliminating the water you cannot see with the naked eye.
The industry philosophy here is incredibly strict. As the experts put it, and I love this quote, "We don't remove equipment based on timelines. We remove it when moisture meters confirm your structure has reached appropriate dryness levels." It's an unyielding, totally evidence-based approach. The job isn't done just because, say, 3 days have passed. It's done when the mathematics and the science say the structure is actually safe. Finally, let's look at Section 5, navigating the insurance maze, translating all this science into coverage.
All of this highly detailed scientific process serves another incredibly important function for you. It is your ultimate financial safeguard. Did you know that waiting just 24 hours to call for help can give your insurance company a valid reason to deny your claim entirely? No joke. Insurance companies demand immediate mitigation to maintain your coverage. The sheer speed and meticulous documentation provided by a professional restoration team are exactly what separates a smoothly approved claim from a wildly expensive denial. The technicians maintain detailed photo documentation and precise daily moisture logs. These logs act as an indisputable, scientific defense against any adjuster trying to shortchange the claim. Plus, the team communicates directly with the insurance adjuster to ensure everything is covered and rebuilt to the latest codes.
And there's a crucial warning that really ties this all together. Unpermitted work can void your policy and create an absolute nightmare when you go to sell your home. Let's say you decide to DIY a flood cleanup. You use your desk fan, you replace the baseboards yourself, and you think, hey, I just saved a few bucks. Well, years later, you put your house on the market. A home inspector comes in, finds hidden mold and unpermitted reconstruction work behind the walls. Boom! Not only could your insurance policy be voided, but your buyer walks away and your property value takes a massive, massive hit. Certified professionals who pull the correct permits and navigate the code requirements are absolutely essential for protecting your largest financial asset.
Ultimately, understanding the science of water damage isn't just about cleaning up a mess. It's about being ready to act decisively when things go wrong. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If a pipe bursts at 2 in the morning tonight, is your home prepared to beat the 48-hour clock? The invisible enemy doesn't wait. And frankly, neither should your emergency plan. Thanks for exploring this explainer with me, and stay prepared out there.